Attention guardsmen, tech priests, and Xenos slayers alike. It's been a warp-shattering year, but we're back in the grim darkness of the far future. My name is Kodiak, this is Legacy Gaming, and that's right, we're dusting off our bolters and diving headfirst back into the hive city of Tertium, checking out a brand new update and secret mission in Warhammer 40k Darktide. It's been a minute since I played Warhammer 40k Darktide. We were pretty honest with the team back around launch that the game needed some work, so when the team reached out and asked if I wanted to check out the latest update early, including a brand new secret mission, well, of course, I had to say yes. There's always been something there with Darktide, an amazing game lurking just beneath the surface, and after a few months removed, I knew it was about time to dive back in. So to start, holy hell, a lot has changed with this game. While there's some new maps and weapons, all the things you'd expect to see post-launch, it's really the overhaul to key systems that honestly took me by surprise. First and foremost is the introduction of a talent tree system. This takes what was originally non-existent character progression and actually gives the players some autonomy to make key decisions about each operative. You get 30 points once you reach max level, and there are far more than 30 choices, so you have to be really strategic about how you build your character. For the most part, things break down into melee, ranged, and hybrid playstyles, and while it doesn't drastically change the kit, it certainly adds a new dimension to building out an operative that matches your preferred playstyle. As you unlock and level up new weapons, you're not locked in either. Changing out your talents is free always, which means total flexibility without restriction. Another feature that wasn't in the game at launch is Brunt's Armory, and quite honestly, this is a huge win in my book. This allows each operative to purchase a base level weapon from the entire pool of available weapons for that operative. You might think this is kind of busted, why give players that much control? But it's tied to the refreshed weapon upgrade system that is finally now fully fleshed out. I spent as much time as I could with a variety of weapons, but seeing it all laid out, I realized just how many guns, swords, shovels, staves, and combinations of all of them the game truly has. With the right weapon in hand, you can finally take advantage of the complete item progression system. All those profane or gray tier items you can upgrade, and this is where the real power grind of the game comes into play. First, you can consecrate your weapon, increasing its quality. The modifiers don't change, but with each upgrade you'll gain either a perk or a blessing, which provides various changeable improvements to that weapon. Refining the item allows you to change out one or both of the perks. You get to choose from a long list of available enhancements, and while there is a cost to everything here, it's also that you can build the perfect weapon to match your playstyle or group composition. There's also the blessing system, which is where a bit of RNG is introduced. To earn blessings, you need to sacrifice weapons that actively have blessings on them. Of the potential 2 blessings you can choose from, you need to select one, and in the process you surrender that weapon, destroying it, but the blessing you choose gets added to the future pool for use. This is going to take a decently long time to fill out your library of blessings, but it's where the most potential power comes from. You are limited to just 2 weapon improvements, be it refinement or blessings per weapon, so it does take a bit of thinking through to get that perfect god tier weapon. But still, you have to remember this. The system launched with practically nothing, so to finally see all of the pieces in place is fantastic. When I was done tinkering with my gear, I spent a little time checking out the 2 new weapons that were recently added to the game, the Agrippina Mark 14 Quick Draw Snub Revolver and the Munitorum Mark III Sapper Shovel. I gotta say, the Quick Draw Revolver was clearly a cut above the rest because instead of looking down the sight when holding the Alt Fire button, you actually have the ability to fan the hammer and fire off your entire chamber as fast as you can click. After playing around with it, I could see the potential. It could be a huge boon to a team with the right setup. And even in my solo runs with a couple of bots, I felt like this thing was ripping through enemies, even after bumping up the difficulty a couple notches. Quite honestly, it was just awesome to see all the pieces finally connect, because that's what was missing at launch. The gameplay was good, but the supporting progression systems just didn't feel fully realized, so now, a year later, it's great to see things finally in a complete state. Yeah, it took a year, but I don't think anyone would argue the foundation was always strong. It just needed more time in the oven. Today, however, I was laser focused on my objective, checking out a brand new mission that the team deployed as a surprise as part of the Trader's Curse 2-part update. The Orthus Offensive is a new mission. It's as simple as that. But throughout the mission, you'll be assaulted by the Karnak twins, a powerful duo that combines elements of ranged and melee combat. The final beat of the mission will have you engaging them in an arena-style boss battle, and let me tell you guys, this one is a doozy. Mind you, I was forced to play with a bunch of bots as I was checking this out ahead of its surprise release, but even on the easiest difficulty, the tenacity of both bosses was remarkable. Rinda, in particular, is a beast to deal with because she constantly assaults you with warp-infused melee attacks, giving you very little downtime between swings. Just the ferocity of the attacks makes it hard to focus on anything else, and oh yeah, you're also dealing with her brother shooting you from across the map, and a number of elite enemies that spawn during the encounter. I have no doubt I could have handled it if I had the Legacy boys, but with a bunch of bots watching my back, it was a challenge. It's great that the game also introduced a new stim system recently, because having that edge in a fight is huge, and depending on what you need, a damage boost, increased speed, a quick heal, or cooldown reduction, it gives you a little more flexibility to take down the twins. Over the last couple of days, I have spent a good chunk of time with the game, and man, just gotta say, it's good to be back. If you remember, these missions fluctuate anywhere between 20 to 30 minutes for the most part, and at this point in the year, that's pretty much all my brain can handle. Being able to do a mission, collect some plasteel and diamantine, and then figure out how to beef up my character for the next run is exactly the sort of loop I want in a game like this, and now that all of the systems support each other, it feels a lot better. I also wanted to check out the new Carnival missions, which is set in an entirely new area of the world. For those that might not remember, Darktide maps are often created using intersecting pathways, so different missions will feature elements of maps that you've played through before. In the case of the Carnival missions, it's an entirely new map base. It still feels very 40k, don't you fret, but it does feel distinctly different by design. According to the team, it's essentially a massive slum, overpopulated, close-packed, and riven with poverty and grim conditions, and as a result, it's semi-lawless. You definitely get that vibe as you run through the map, and there's also a slightly different color palette that really helps it look and feel a bit different than the other levels. Hive cities, like Tertium, are a bit interesting because while there's a ton of room for exploration of the theme, you are still relegated to a massive city. It's not like the team could just warp us to a mountaintop, but they certainly could explore the more ornate parts towards the top of the city. That being said, it was cool to see another part of the world, and I'm sure the Carnival will be an area of the game the team continues to expand on with new missions. And speaking of missions, I was expecting the same crop of a half dozen tiles when I opened up the mission board. Nope, look at this thing. Way more missions than I remember, and a lot of variety in the mix, including new affixes that either increase or decrease the difficulty depending on what you're going for. There's even a second mission board called the Auric level, which presents the hardest challenges the game has to offer. Each one comes with an affix, and some even come with the Maelstrom special affix, which continuously throws enemies throughout the entire mission. Finally, I also want to just say how crazy it is to think this game has gone through a full year of patches and balance fixes. You can look back at the various blog posts and see how many adjustments were made to shape the gameplay experience. It's impressive. Each operative has undergone a series of changes, and some, like the Veteran, have received major overhauls. But long term, I think it goes to show that the devs are still locked into the player experience, and the numbers show. The game maintains a healthy concurrent player base, and if Fatshark continues to deliver, I have no doubt the community will solidify further. I have to say, being on and off with Darktide for the past year, it does feel good to be back with a big update. The action is just as solid as I remember it, and the introduction of new and refresh systems really helps tie the experience together. It's great to see the game continue to expand, and I'm excited to dive back in with the boys and look forward to checking out the next major update down the road. Let me know what you guys think. Is Darktide on your backlog of games to check out before the year ends, or are you a longtime fan still playing the game after all this time? Drop us a line in the comment section below and let us know. Of course, if you like this video and you want more content like this in your feeds, you already know what to do. Hit that thumbs up and consider subscribing. It's still the single best way to help channels like ours reach new audiences. My name is Kodiak, and from everyone here at Legacy Gaming, thanks for watching and play on.